The 2022 Extreme Rules pay-per-view or premium live event going down in Philly this Saturday on Peacock. And Scott, last year we had one match that was extreme. It was Roman Reigns and Finn Balor as the Demon for the Universal Championship. And poor Finn lost due to an act of God when the top rope snapped. So this year, Triple H says, I'm going to give you everything extreme. 7 Extreme Rules matches. And this card could be a classic.
Y'all want to know why Finn Balor turned to the dark side? Because God turned on him at Extreme Rules, and that's why he's in the Judgment Day now. So it all comes full circle. Yeah, I think it. I mean, and I think it. A lot of these extreme stipulations, they work, and they've made them feel. And they're all different. They're all very different stipulations, which is another good thing. It'll be interesting to see how the matches are crafted. Like, you know, Liv Morgan had that huge ladder spot that I'm expecting in their match, but then we have a ladder match. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about not overexposing certain gimmicks as well. That'll be the true test to see with some of these matches, I think.
Yes, the table spots in particular. Who's going to use the tables for Extreme Rules? That's going to be the key here because everybody cannot do a table spot. So you want to make sure all those big key gimmicks are spaced out throughout the show. But I got the list of matches on my phone and we're going to run through them in no particular order. As of right now, 6 matches on tap, not 7. I take that back. So let's go through the first match, working our way from the bottom to the top. I've got the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge Holland and Butch versus Imperiums, Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci in a 6-man tag team match known as the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. I am so excited about this match. We saw Drew and Sheamus in a Donnybrook about a month ago in Atlanta, and it was a lot of fun, highly entertaining and physical. This match, like all of these matches, really could be a show stealer because we know Gunther and Sheamus is going to tear it up the night before, and then they're going to do it again with their partners via this Donnybrook match.
You know, I'm torn on this one because I'm really torn on who's going to win the title match next week on SmackDown. The way they set it up, everything is just lined up for Sheamus to win. And I kind of think Sheamus wins next week. And then, so I'm going with the Brutes again. So I think Sheamus wins on Friday night. And then actually, I'll change it. Sheamus wins Friday night. Imperium wins at the pay-per-view to set Walter getting his next title shot.
All right. So I'm going to pick Gunther to retain the championship. Such a tough decision. I love Sheamus having by far one of his best years ever, if not the best year ever in his career. And I will pick the Brawling Brutes to do a make good via this matchup if Sheamus loses on Friday to kind of even things out a bit. Because at some point, if Sheamus does win, we do deserve a threequel to this, a trilogy to this feud if it goes down that way. But I do expect Gunther to retain. But in WWE, you never know, because if you get beat down the week before, in psychology speaking, in WWE, you might be winning a championship come Friday night. Next up on our list is Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match. And we said that Prison Bay Finn never quits, no matter what. Rocking purple bandana and all, he's not going to quit. So I'm picking Finn to make Edge say, I quit, because Finn is about that life.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you. I think Finn Balor does it as well. And I think it involves Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. I think maybe he's going to smash Dominic's head in and Rey's like, yo, you got to quit, something like that. Or they're going to get Rey and they're going to start smashing Rey in, or something is going to happen where it's not going to be Edge's fault that he has to quit.
I kind of sense that as well. Definitely see a Rhea, Dom, Rey involvement towards the end of this matchup to see who would say I quit. And I got Finn making Edge do the honors when it's all said and done. Next up on the card will be Drew McIntyre versus Carrion Cross with Scarlett in a strap match. This is a big test for Carrion Cross. I am not a hater of his by any stretch of the imagination. I thought his work in NXT was pretty solid until Adam Cole just ethered him that night. He never recovered, but his work in the ring was pretty good. I thought that he did a great job demolishing Tommaso Ciampa a couple years ago at In Your House. That was a great sell by Ciampa as well. And Carrion's good. Drew McIntyre is great. And Drew is going to bring out greatness in you. He did it for Madcap earlier this year in day one and at not Extreme Rules, but Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia. He is going to bring out something in his opponents that's going to make you match his level. If Cross can do that, if he can go toe-to-toe with Drew in this strap match, then I have hopes for you to make it on the main roster. If you fall short, I got questions, because Drew is going to do what he needs to do to bring you to the finish line. Can you do the same, sir? I'm picking Carrion Cross to win this because he needs the rub a bit more than Drew, who won't be hurt by the loss.
You know, I'm watching Karrion Kross and Scarlett and the vignettes that they're doing and him cutting these promos, and I'm just wondering how, like, I'm shocked that Vince McMahon didn't like him, like didn't see more in him, didn't want to do more with him and push him to the moon. Like, he just seems like everything, especially with Scarlett, that everything he would want. So that's what I was thinking as I'm watching this. Like, I'm shocked that he hasn't been here for years. I think you kind of hit everything on the head. I think, you know, we've heard that Drew McIntyre is a little banged up, and this could be a really good way to write Drew off. So I think Drew hits a nice flurry at the beginning of the match. He has people thinking he could pull it off, but I think Karrion Kross just decimates him towards the end, and we get a nice write-off type angle for Drew. We won't see him for a little bit.
Yes, he deserves some time out and some rest. He's been working really hard. Food poisoning last week. IV'd his way through the show. Impressive. He needs a break. Neck issues this year as well. He's been through it. He needs time to heal, take a break. The losses have added up a bit. He's still great at what he does, but he needs a little time out. Make us miss you a bit. Come back, refresh, stronger than ever, possibly around the Royal Rumble, and then we can kind of get you ready for WrestleMania season. But Karrion Kross needs to win, and a performance of a lifetime on the main roster to make this latest run stick. Next up, we've got Matt Riddle versus Seth Freakin Rollins in a fight pit match, and announced on Twitter right before we started the show, DC, Daniel Cormier will be the special guest referee for this match. WWE secured a bag for him in Philly. This is great pub for them. The UFC connections here at long last. And this match could be a show stealer, because I love fight pit matches. I encourage everyone to rewatch Riddle versus Thatcher Fight Pit 1 when nobody was there on NXT 2 years ago. You want a physical bruising Fight Club match? That's the one to watch, because I loved it. And Riddle and Rollins, their chemistry and their animosity is going to fit perfectly in this match. And I'm picking Riddle to pull out the win.
Yeah, and Thatcher actually had another one with Ciampa that was really good too. Like, it's a very different match, very unique match, and man, the DC element that makes it feel main event. It makes it feel like this could close out the show. You know, this whole time I've been thinking Bianca Bayley, that's going to close out the show, the ladder match. Now I'm not as confident. You know, I could easily see this closing out the show. It's been a nice built up feud. I think Rollins should win, but this seems like it would be up Riddle's, you know, right up his alley. DC's there. I wonder if they're setting some up with that. He's a big WWE fan. I'm gonna go with Rollins, even though I could easily see Riddle pulling up an upset, but I'll go with Rollins.
All right. It could go either way. The DC element is very intriguing. This could open the door for things at WrestleMania. Got Brock. That was an option a few years ago as well. The door is opened at long last, and maybe DC can slide with Michael Cole and commentary on SmackDown, make Corey now work twice a week. Possibility. Just saying, depends on DC's schedule, because I love him very much in UFC on commentary. As we move on to our last two matches for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, respectively, we got Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I got Ronda Rousey winning this match. Liv will not win 3 times against Ronda Rousey, I don't believe. But as I said earlier, if they get time and if it's laid out properly, this could be, like I said, for all of these matches, a show stealer.
If they're serious about Liv Morgan, she'll win this match. But I don't know how serious they are, and I agree with you. You can't have Liv Morgan beat Ronda Rousey 3 times unless you're going all in on Liv Morgan being this giant killer essentially. And I don't know if they're doing that. So I got Ronda Rousey as well. I think it's going to be a underrated match as far as I don't think people are going to expect it to be as good as it can be. And I think the crowd is going to be match placement is going to be very important for this match. I think it's very key to put them in a decent spot, because if you put them behind after like a Rollins Riddle type match, they're going to have a really hard time, I think, getting that crowd back into it.
Yes. So for match placement, I would say do not have them on or before the Fight Pit or the Donnybrook. Those are two matches that's going to really pull fans in. Everything else, you might be okay in terms of match layout and placement, but Donnybrook, Fight Pit, I would not want to be in that position to be after those matches, but we'll see how they lay it out by the end of this week. And finally, we got Bianca Belair versus Bayley for the Raw Women's Championship in a ladder match. Up until this match announcement, I was all in on Bianca Belair. Now, with the ladder match, I'm not so sure, because she doesn't have to be pinned to lose the title. I'm picking Bayley to win the championship because I feel as if Alexa Bliss is turning heel and joining Damage Control.
Wow. Alexa Bliss. I didn't see that coming. Okay. I think Bianca retains, and that's an interesting pick though, because I've been thinking that, especially with, Nikki Cross throwing or Nikki Ash throwing her mask away. Piper, I thought Piper, but Alexa's interesting, especially being more into a lackey and not even a tag lackey, but now she's just a fourth lackey. So that would be an interesting dynamic though, because that's somebody else who doesn't need to be talking, because she hasn't really been great on promos either. I like that, Keila. I think that's an interesting pick. And you're right about Bianca not having to be pinned. It makes the numbers game greater. And it kind of gives her another squad member for which I think is going to have to be the War Games match for the women. So let me ask you this. How do you even the odds out with Bianca Belair? Who do you side her with? What two women are you calling to her side?
Well, after Monday, I saw the lay of the land when Candice LeRae showed up. And when I saw Candice show up, I said, somebody's dynamic's going to change, because I can see Alexa flipping and joining Damage Control. So I got Candice rocking with Bianca and Asuka, and a healed up, returned Becky Lynch. That would be the foursome against Damage Control with Alexa Bliss.
Okay. So you think Becky Lynch will be ready by Survivor Series time?
I do believe so. I think you got Becky, Asuka, Candice, Bianca. That's the team right there that would be great in terms of chemistry versus Damage Control. That could be elevated with Alexa, who can talk for this crew with something to talk about for a change.
I know she's kind of the elephant in the room, and maybe this is the whole plan is to get people to not think about her anymore. But I wonder if there's a Sasha Banks element that could be in play, because Bianca does have a little bit of history with Sasha. Sasha's got history with Bayley. I wonder if a little bit of that element could be in play. There is the tag title still there. So that's the Alexa Bliss turning thing is very interesting, because that opens up the door to a lot of possibilities. I'm just not that high on Alexa Bliss right now.
I know, that's my concern. I hope that a heel turn would just jumpstart something for her again, because I do like her, but as a babyface, it's very cold right now. And the chemistry between Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa as a crew is not there. And I do wonder about the Sasha Naomi element as well whenever they come back, because I'm assuming at one point they want these titles back. I don't know how long WWE wants to play it. We got a lot of returns to consider with Charlotte, Sasha, Naomi. We got Charlotte Flair coming back as well, Bray Wyatt's return. A lot of people still got to return to this company in the fall and winter of this year. So we're just waiting at this point. But the intriguing aspect is I just don't trust Alexa Bliss. They keep talking about her losing a step or two, and she's not focused right now. I can sense a turn. I can sense a betrayal, because right now this crew, in terms of chemistry, doesn't work for me.
No, I think there's something to that. And now that you say that, part of me thinks that the reason Bianca's also winning is Rhea Ripley has to go after the women's championship at some point. Like at some point, she has to be like, I think I want to get some gold too, and that's a big time matchup that we were supposed to get that we didn't get. Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, and I think that for the title is a big time match. the Alexa Bliss thing, and I think she can turn and maybe turn for the title, because she does need something to freshen up that character, man, because I don't care about her at all. And I would so much rather it be Piper that joins that group, because they need a heavy, man. And Alexa Bliss, there's nothing heavy about her except that doll.
That's cold, but it's true though. But I'm just torn on it as well. I'm still gonna go with my original pick. I will say that when Alexa's on, she does have really good chemistry with Bianca Belair in the ring. I do like what they do together if they decide to feud them up before Survivor Series, but we'll see. This will go either way, but I just feel as if there's a turn coming. And when Candice was backstage with Bianca Belair, I kind of sensed some feels out of place here. I sense a switch coming, and it will be in the form of Alexa Bliss flipping and joining Damage Control.
I like options. I like that's what I like about WWE right now with a lot of their top stories, is there are multiple ways that it can go that make sense, that have other layers that you can add to the story. Like you said, if Alexa Bliss flips and joins and Bayley becomes champion, now Bianca has somebody she can go after without having to go after Bayley, somebody she can beat. So there's options. That's always a good thing to have with your stories and your top players.
Yeah, and you got time between now and WrestleMania to get the championship back, to get to Rhea versus Bianca when you want to go there. And my concern with Rhea is she cleared to even wrestle yet? And she has not done that in a few months. And I hope that she's cleared medically to have full-on contact. She can do spots, and I think she might have taken a bump or two, but not a full match since June. And that is a little concerning to me as well, regarding that concussion she suffered a few months ago to herself when she kneed her head by accident.
No, that's a good point. I still think we're getting Bianca Charlotte at WrestleMania. I think she knocks off that fourth horseman or horsewoman. So, but again, this is a good thing. The intrigue and just kind of the mystery of what's going to happen, because the ladder match does change things as far as not having to pin Bianca.
Exactly. So we'll see how they play it on Saturday. So this is the lineup for Extreme Rules. It might squeeze in one more match. We'll see. But this lineup is stacked. Every match has a stip, unlike last year, which is very good to see this show live up to its namesake for a change. Looking forward to the show, and we'll review it next weekend right here on The Wrap.